podcast in the description?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Great.
your podcast channel is A to Z podcast. Actually, I asked one person, okay, and he is also Indian, and I asked him that please send me the sir's channel name, YouTube channel name. Then after that, he told me no, sir is not a YouTuber. Sir is the podcast. Sir has a podcast channel, and after that, oh, A to Z podcast.
Yes, I'm not really a YouTuber. I'm a podcaster more than a YouTuber. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And you did a session, sir, with a lot of Indian people also.
I have. I've done a lot of interviews with Indian YouTubers. Someone saw one interview and then asked me, the next person asked me, and then that person watched another interview, and so just like dominoes, it's just a lot of people were asking me to come on their channel, which is great for me because I love to promote my podcast. I would like more Indian people to listen to the A to Z English podcast. So I appreciate you're helping me promote my podcast, and we're also helping students learn English. So that's a good thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So actually, you can know that my English is like no, is a broken English. Okay, I'm a learner and I'm learning this language. So that's why, and you know that Indian accent is also a little bit different.
Sure, but I mean, everyone who I live in Korea, and Korean people have a Korean accent when they speak English, and I used to live in Thailand, and Thai people have a Thai accent when they speak English. So every 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 language or every culture that tries to speak English or learn English, they have their challenges, things, words that are hard to pronounce, and things in grammar points that are difficult, to understand. But overall, I don't have too many problems understanding Indian speakers. At least in my experience, everyone I talked to, it was really easy to understand them.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
sir, how long have you been in the in South Korea to South Korea, sir?
Yeah, I've been in South Korea for 22 years, I guess, about 22 years, 21
Oh,
years. Yeah, yeah, long time, long time.
long time. So
Yeah.
you were a teacher, and earlier you used to job in USA.
Yeah, so I'm from the United States, and I used to, I used to live in Minnesota and then California, but I moved to Asia when I was 23 or 24 years old, and that's when I started teaching English as a second language or English as a foreign language, and I never stopped. I just really fell in love with the career, and so it
Okay.
just became my career. So now I've been teaching at a university for almost 20 years. I've written some books, some textbooks, course books. I have a podcast, and yeah, I mean, and a YouTube channel, and I'm working on I teach international students in the evenings. I have a company with a partner, and we have a company called World English. Um, yeah, it's World English is it's kind of a WhatsApp group where students can come and join the WhatsApp group, and then they can join our Google Meets meetings, and then we have conversations and things like that. So I have a lot of I'll send you all the links if students are interested in joining. They can, join, and our Google Meets classes, we have classes every day, uh Sunday through Thursday. Oh, sorry, Saturday to Thursday, and also in the mornings Monday through Friday. And so it's only $10 a month. And so that's like 40 classes for $10. It's really, really cheap. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cheap.
Yeah,
And
yeah. And
Just
so
talk.
yeah, it's really cheap, and there's a lot of opportunities for students to speak because we go into the groups and we make breakout rooms in the Google Meets, and then students can go into the small groups and they can discuss a topic that we give them. And then the native speakers, I'm one of the teachers in the group. I go into the groups and I help students with like grammar questions or vocabulary questions and things like that. So yeah, we have I have a lot of projects going on right now. Yeah.
You have a lot of experience about this language, so you know how to train the student. Because
Right.
most of the people, especially if I talk about that Indian people, they are, most of the people are afraid of speaking, because we think the first thought comes in our mind, that is we are afraid of making mistake. and
Hmm.
and India, in the major problem is whenever you talk to anyone, and if you make like any kind of mistake, and that time they started laughing at us. So
Right.
that's why sometimes we can't express our thought in front of people.
That's a real issue that I think is more in people's minds than they're it's not like a real issue. Like I think people do feel when people laugh at other people, like in my classroom, I tell students this must be a safe place. Like you have to be able to make a mistake in this room. No one is going to laugh at you. And if other students are laughing at someone, then I'll kick them out of the class. Be like,
Okay.
goodbye, get out of my classroom. Because I don't like bullies. You know what I mean? Like that's a bullying thing to do is to make fun of someone if they make a speaking mistake. What we should be doing is encouraging each other to speak more, because that's the only way that you're going to grow as a speaker. And so that's also part of our WhatsApp group and part of our Google classes is that we don't we don't tolerate any bullying. Like there's if someone comes in and they're negative, we kick them out. Here's your money back. No, thank you. We don't need your business. We only want good people who are supportive and gonna, lift up other people. And so that's why I think our group is so popular is because people, enjoy it and it's a place where they feel safe. And so yeah, I think that's a big problem in Korea also, where students are a little bit scared to speak because they're afraid they're going to make a mistake and that somebody's going to laugh at them. But I think really it's mostly in our minds because nobody really cares what other people are doing. We're mostly focused on ourselves. Like and so we think that everybody's watching us and cares about us, but actually they're worried about themselves. And so once we overcome that fear and realize that no one's really watching you, then you kind of feel free to like, okay, I'm gonna explore and try to use the English. I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes, but that's the only way to learn to speak. You have to be willing to speak poorly before you can speak well. You're never going to get to good unless you pass through bad. You know what I mean? Like the bad is
Yes,
on the
yes,
road to good. Like that's the only way. That's for everything. Cricket, basketball, learning a language, learning to swim. First you have to be kind of bad at it, then you get good at it. And so I don't know why people want to jump over, go from zero to perfect. Like it's impossible. How do you do that? Yeah.
and yeah, so it's in like, sometimes also there's a lots of problems in our area. And that if I talk about in our native language in Hindi, so if
Hmm.
you make mistake, if I make mistake while speaking in Hindi, then nobody laugh at us. But when it comes to speaking in English, that time, if if I make any kind of a little mistake, so they started laughing at us. But
Yeah. That's terrible. That's a um unfortunate thing because I think it should be Well, I'm not going to say it should be the opposite. We should never make fun of people for making mistakes,
Yes,
but it's such a natural part of the language learning process. Like you have to make some mistakes before you figure out, what the correct way to say something is, or the right word, or the right pronunciation is. You have to practice. And if you don't feel like you have the freedom to practice without being laughed at, then what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of people that are going to stop studying and stop learning the language. They're going to quit,
yes,
because it's like, well, I tried, but somebody made fun of me and laughed at me, so I was embarrassed. So now I'm not going to do it anymore. That's really sad. That's a sad thing. Yeah.
even that not only is it Indian people, even I talk to some people also, those people who belongs to Bangladesh as well as Pakistan. They also told me the same things, that no, in our country also, if I speak English with any strangers, and if I make any kind of mistake, they started laughing at us. So this kind of problem is going on all, expect like no, India and Pakistan, except like no, yeah, UK country or that
Yeah.
US. This
Well, you know what we call those people? We have a name for those kinds of people in English. We call them haters. They're haters, right? They just hate everything. They hate on, and it's just really just jealousy, right?
yes,
They're jealous that you can do something that they can't do. And
yes,
so they're going to try to knock you down and bring you down to their level, and you have to rise above it and just say, you know what? You're a hater. I don't care what you say. I'm going to keep learning English and keep practicing because I know that someday I'm going to get better. And yeah, that's really, it's hard to do that. It's really hard to do, because especially on the internet, you're broadcasting yourself to the world on YouTube. So you're going to get people in the comments who say really negative things about you, and and you have to just ignore those people. They're angry people. They're sad people, They're not worth your time and effort. Um what Tell me about your journey. Like, how long have you been studying English?
okay. Honestly speaking, sir, I have been learning this language since 2022, last year.
Wow, that's incredible. Wow, that's not that long ago. So like 1 year.
Yes.
Good for you. That's amazing. You're having conversations on YouTube. You have an English YouTube channel after
Yeah.
just 1 year. That's amazing.
And I have created, if I talk about that, when I have opened my channel, then I created my channel uh 3 or 4 months ago. But after that, I started uploading video s- last week of June.
Okay.
Last, yeah, this
So like maybe 6 months ago you started. Yeah.
last August of June.
Okay.
I have
Good.
my
Yeah. How do you like it? Do you like being a YouTuber? Is it fun?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Actually, I'm a homemaker, so nowadays, after finishing my household chores, I have time. So I realized that instead of spending my time with those people who like no gossiping people, if I spend my time with those people, after that I like no, I didn't get, I wouldn't get anything from them. But if I spend my time in YouTube, and if I communicate with like no multiple people, I can learn so many things.
Yes. I know what you're saying. You're like, it's kind of like watching television. It's fun, but you're not developing as a human being, You're not learning anything, you're not advancing. And so you find it very kind of fruitful and uh, I don't know, helpful for your own development to like have a YouTube channel, meet new people, have conversations. Yeah, that's great. I'm very similar the same way. I like creating podcasts. And so if I'm not recording something, I feel like I should be working. I should be doing something. I have to force myself to like stop working and just relax sometimes, because it's good to relax sometimes. But I'm kind of like you. I think maybe when you have a little bit of time, you're like, I got to do make work on my channel, get some more videos, content. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
You have told me that you were in Thailand also.
That's right. That's right. That was the first country that I lived in. That's where I first taught, and I was a English teacher in Thailand, teaching elementary students at a bilingual school. And I don't really like teaching children that much. It's not my my preference. I like university students because they're more mature, and it's a little bit more easier to manage the classroom. Children, takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy to, like, okay, sit down, don't do that, don't touch that, put your pencil down, and so when I teach university students, I can just make jokes and we can accomplish a lot in a short amount of time. But teaching kids, God bless people that like to teach kids, because they're amazing. They have a lot of energy and a lot of empathy. And yeah, I don't have that. I don't think I have those qualities that make a good, elementary school teacher. So I prefer older kids, adults. I like teaching adults. Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, you never been to India?
No, I've never been to India. I love the food. I've eaten the food many times, but I just haven't. I've never traveled there before.
Okay. So, have you any plan to visit India?
I don't. It's on my bucket list for sure. I would love to get there. It's just a matter of when. Maybe when I retire from teaching, will travel the world. I will definitely visit India. It's a must go place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So actually, I live in West Bengal, and those people, like, no, who are, I'm gonna say that some people comes to India, and especially Kolkata, for pilgrimage. They are doing pilgrimage here.
Yes. Right. Right. Yeah, I would love to. One of my dreams would be to visit India and to stay at like an ashram and learn how to meditate. Like proper meditation techniques and things like that. That would be. I would really love. I think I would really enjoy that. So yeah, that's one of my bucket list items, I think, to do. And obviously I would love to see the Taj Mahal, because it's such a building, such a beautiful structure, and amazing, a world wonder. So I would have to see that. Yeah.
Yeah. There are so many things in India. Like, no, that's why people come to India to visit this place, to explore this place.
Yeah, it's a place of like a place of enlightenment, like like trying to be a better person and to reach a kind of a new level of spiritual level.
Yeah.
And I think I would really love to take a trip like that. That's very, work on inner Jack, and I think India would be the perfect place to do that. So yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, sir, and I have one question that, like, no, suppose if I talk about myself, that I'm also a learner. Okay, so as a learner, like, no, those people who are in beginner level, so they also want to speak English. So, but their vocabulary is a very less. They don't know anything. That grammar part is very weak, and that vocab also they don't know anything. So, how this they can start their journey? They learn this language.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think one of the ways that you can, in the beginning, what you have to do at the very, very beginning is first you have to learn how to, you have to learn like the alphabet. You have to learn how to read, reading words, and start learning vocabulary. And one of the ways to do that when you're first learning is just memorization. Cat, dog,
Yeah.
tree, building, whatever. Um, but as soon as you start putting some of those words together and making sentences, I think you can start practicing speaking. You can try the really short conversations, just even like greetings, like nice to meet you. How are you today? I'm fine, thank you. And you? I'm fine too, thank you.
Oh,
Goodbye. Have like a really simple vacation, and you have to just keep practicing those simple greetings, and then you can add something to it. Hello, nice to meet you. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from India. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from America. Oh, nice to meet you. Okay, and you just have like you start with these really basic conversations like how's the weather? Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's raining. Whatever, you start with these really basic conversations. So I think that it doesn't matter if your level is really low. You can still learn these basic because language learning is just pattern recognition, right? It's like you're just changing the verb, and that's but you're still using the same sentence structure, because English would be like I uh I don't know, I ate a carrot, I
yeah.
bought a carrot, I saw a carrot, I have a carrot. It's like you're just changing the verb and you're changing the meaning, but it's still the pattern is what you're recognizing. And so like new learners are really, what you want them to do is start to recognize those patterns. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, so in English we always use the okay, I, you, he, she, it, we, they. You start to learn those patterns and building sentences, and you start with really simple things like, I have a pen.
Mm.
It is a pen, like it's really simple, but it's important to do that, even though it's kind of simple and very easy and basic. It's important to just say it out loud, to do it, and to use the language. And so a lot of people, like you said, this kind of circles back to before, where people are embarrassed to be beginners. You're like, oh, my level is too low, so I can't speak, I don't want to speak. Then you'll always stay at a low level. You have to try to go up, and it's good if you can find a partner or a friend or a YouTube channel like your channel, and you can watch the interviews and listen to the conversations, and send a message to you on the comments section, and you'll write back. And any way you can communicate with people in English is going to help you, grow as a language learner. And yeah, so I mean, my suggestion to lower level students is, um, make sentences. Just try, do something. Produce some kind of utterance, and then was it correct? Is the grammar right? Check your grammar. Is the sentence correct? Is it a full sentence or is it a sentence fragment? And start to understand the structures of English and the patterns. And then once you understand the pattern, you can start building new sentences and new meanings, and you'll be able to express yourself more. And that's it. That's all, language learning is just building on these patterns that you recognize. And each language has its own, pattern, which they call syntax.
Like no sir, and if you like in our country also, like no, if you join any courses, any English classes, so at first they started teaching us like how to pronounce this word and grammar structures, vocabulary. And after completing the course also, but those people can't speak English.
Right. Because they teach it all in Hindi, right? Or whatever language, whatever the native language is of the region, they'll teach the grammar in your language, not in English.
Yeah, not
And
English.
yeah,
Like no, and that another also mentality is work in our country. No, that means you are speaking in English, then you have to speak English like American. Those people who live in USA, then you have to speak like this. But sometimes I realize that how is it possible? Because I live in India, my accent is little bit different. So how can I speak like
right.
American? whenever any USA people, like if you speak Hindi, so you can't speak Hindi like Indian people. You
No, 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 no. And I don't, I wouldn't, no one would expect me to. I think the expectation is wrong in that situation. What, the pronunciation doesn't need to be perfect. The grammar doesn't need to be perfect. What you need is comprehensibility. Can you understand the person? I mean, would you, I think your pronunciation is excellent. I mean, I must say you have excellent pronunciation. It's not like, perfect American pronunciation, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me because I understand everything you're saying. That's the important thing, right? Like we're communicating on a very high level of understanding, and that's the important thing. It's not whether you sound like an American or your grammar is perfect, because even my grammar is not perfect. When I'm talking, sometimes I stop in the middle of a sentence and I start a new sentence, and if you write down what I said, it wouldn't be grammatical either necessarily all the time. So I think that there's too much emphasis on, being perfect. But I think that's kind of a product of maybe like Indian culture with education is like you have to be the best, number one, and you have to be perfect. But I think for my, in my classroom, what I tell my students is you need to be understandable.
yes,
If I can understand you, then you're doing great. It's successful.
yeah.
That's the measure that I use.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like no, the way you were speaking, I can understand everything and your vocabulary, what kind of words you were using. So everything I'm catching it. So I am not facing any kind of problem. So I think that should be the main reason. If you when we are communicate with anyone, if that person can understand what I am trying to say, is this enough for me? But I'm sometimes like no, if I but in India there are so many problems when it comes to speaking English. That means you when I speak English, then you have to speak English like American. But those people, like some are native speaker in Indian
Yeah.
native speaker, but some people also they help me that no, you are Indian, how do you expect that you can speak English like American? You never been to USA, so it's not
Right.
possible for you.
It's an interesting thing, and I think maybe it might have something to do with like call centers or something like that. Maybe if you want to work in a call center, then you have to have like an American accent so that, and so some of those teachers are trying to get people to speak exactly like an American accent, but it's a pointless exercise because it's not necessary. Speaking English with an Indian accent is fine because it's easy to understand. Then it doesn't matter what your accent is, if it's a Thai accent or an Indian accent or Korean accent or Colombian accent, as long as people can understand you, that's the important thing. Yeah, I think we get way too obsessed with perfection, and I think and we teach the wrong things. What we should do is take that student who has a lot of enthusiasm about speaking English, and we should encourage them to speak more. We shouldn't be like scolding them, saying, "Oh no, your pronunciation is wrong." You can help them with their
Yeah.
pronunciation, but you don't have to say, "Oh, you're doing this wrong, and this is wrong, and this is not right, and you have an accent, and da 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 da." That's really negative. That's a negative way. I believe in positive reinforcement, right? So encourage them more, and over time, their English will become even more fluent and more comprehensible. And I mean, I bet you probably have improved a lot in the last like 6 months or so. You've only been studying for a year, right? Since 2022.
Yes.
Yeah, so you probably just, you're like a rocket, you're just going up, 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 up. And it's because you have the right priorities. You have the right attitude about how to learn the language. It's like I'm not going to listen to those people, those teachers or professors or trainers who like You have to sound like an American. Don't ignore those people. Just do it your way. Your way is good. Your way is working.
I
Yeah.
don't pay attention, sir. When they told me, no, you have to, if you want to speak English, you have to speak like Indian. No, it's not possible for
Yeah.
me.
No, no. And if I were to learn Hindi, I'll never sound like a native Indian person, you know? Like it'll always sound American. But, you know, if people understand me, that's good enough then. No problem. Yeah.
So, sir, do you have any other questions, sir, for me?
No, I just want to say thanks for letting me come on your channel. I really appreciate it. It was a very nice invitation and a very nice conversation. I look forward to watching it on your channel. It'll be fun. And just for our listeners out there, your viewers, check out the A to Z English podcast or A to Z English podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I put your channeling in my description box. So people,
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
yeah. And thank you so much, sir, accepting my invitation. I never
Of
thought
course. Yeah, no problem.
my accept my invitation.
Of course. Yeah, it was a great conversation. It was really fun. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
Nice to meet you, Rimpy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, sir. Bye.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.